Breaking news from the NFL in a stunning development. The Ravens have backed out of the trade for star pass rusher Maxx Crosby. Now, the Raiders announced the news but did not offer any more details. Last week, the Ravens acquired the five-time Pro Bowler in a blockbuster for 2 first-round picks in a move that was supposed to improve their pass rush considerably. But now, it's off? Here with CBS Sports NFL analyst Ryan Wilson. Ryan, we see the statement that the Raiders have put out saying, quote, the Baltimore Ravens have backed out of our trade agreement for Maxx Crosby. We will have no further comment at this time. A lot of questions around that. What is your immediate reaction when you see this?
This is me marking out the 14th pick no longer belonging to the Las Vegas Raiders, because that was the pick that they were going to get from the Ravens. So a couple things. We don't know anything other than the words that were...
We're just getting an update that, according to NFL Network's Ian Rappaport, it is a medical reason.
Okay, so...
Which, of course, these come into play when trades come.
Absolutely. And, again, Wednesday at 4 p.m. is sort of the deadline, and a lot of things can happen between now and then. But this is... interesting. A couple things. So the Ravens still need help at edge rusher. They could draft someone at 14, but you're not going to get a player of the caliber of Maxx Crosby, number one. The other thing, this is a huge issue for the Raiders in terms of, they have a ton of salary cap space, but in terms of the rebuilding process we were talking about with Fernando Mendoza and everything that comes with that, because you had pick 14 to perhaps get an offensive lineman. You had the pick in the 2027 draft as a first-round pick that you no longer have. So it complicates things a little bit. We'll see what happens, whether another team might be interested in Maxx. What that means medically, we don't know right now. But it is, you said it. It's always fun to see the curveballs that you get thrown as we work through this sort of pre-tampering period.
Right.
And this was a big one.
Well, and of course, this is a legal negotiating window in which none of these deals can become official until 4 p.m. on Wednesday when the new league year begins. And that might be beneficial for the Raiders, who might have to reevaluate some of these commitments they've made to some of these players if that Maxx Crosby salary is still on their salary
books,
cap,
yeah.
on their books. That might affect what moves they're able to make with these free agency acquisitions they've agreed to. Absolutely.
So there's a lot of moving parts there. This is where your salary cap specialist makes his or her money in your front office. And, you know, we talked to John Spytek last week in Indianapolis at the Combine, the GM for the Raiders, and everything was, well, we want to have Maxx with us. They're not going to break news on an interview at the Combine. But you do wonder now what this means because of the move they've made thus far in terms of they've signed Tyler Linderbaum. That's a huge deal.
Yeah.
In terms of the money committed to that. They brought in Jalen Naylor and Kwity Paye. They brought in the 2 former Georgia linebackers, Nakobe Dean and Quay Walker. And we'll see what this means with the max dollar amount should they not be able to move on from him, because that does create some conversations. I think they have enough salary cap space to make it work, and you can push the pennies around to figure out how to move forward. But it's complicating.
Yeah, and you mentioned pushing the pennies around too. Perhaps right now the Ravens are backing out, saying as is with this certain, medical, whatever it is, the news that we will continue to figure out. Maybe they reevaluate what goes into the trade. Maybe we reevaluate the assets that are changing sides. I mean, we've seen these things happen before, but perhaps not on such a big stage of a star player like Maxx Crosby.
Absolutely. So it could be a compensation question. We don't know what the conversations were between the 2 GMs about what that looked like. And so there's a lot to sort through and a lot that we don't know. But we do know, based on the tweets from the Raiders, is that this is the Ravens backing out from reports that it was a medical issue. We don't know what the issues are, but also the dominoes that fall now in terms of the Raiders still need an edge rusher. The Ravens still need an edge rusher. The Raiders still now have to figure out how to build around their quarterback, who they're going to take. Although maybe next thing we'll find out is that Fernando Mendoza won't be the first overall pick.
Oh my gosh, right? We can't be coming up with this many plot twists. But if you're the Ravens right now too, and you're looking at this scenario saying, okay, Maxx Crosby maybe not passing the physical in the way we like, do you go after Trey Hendrickson? Do you pivot that direction?
And I think Jonathan Jones reported this earlier today, that Trey Hendrickson, the money he was asking and what teams were willing to offer, they were so far apart that gap will have to be shortened in order to make that happen. But that could be a plan B. Now, he had medical concerns the last few years in Cincinnati. That's why he didn't play at certain points. Part of you wonder if he was just sort of voluntarily just choosing not to play because he was having issues with the organization.
Load management.
Yeah, load management, to borrow a term. So there's a lot to sort through and a lot that we certainly don't know right now.
All right, CBS Sports NFL analyst Ryan Wilson, thank you so much for the insight on this evolving breaking news story. We're going to continue to break down what happened here. Ravens backing out of the Maxx Crosby trade. Our senior NFL insider Jonathan Jones joins us next right here on CBS Sports.
$3 million per year. What happens next year if one of those dudes balls out, right? If Caleb Williams and Drake May remain on that trajectory, if Jaden Daniels comes back after his Offensive Rookie of the Year season and last year's down year, is that number going to hit 70 at that point, right? With the salary cap and where it's going? And so that is why you want to get a deal done now. But of course, again, the Ravens want to get a deal done. There's all the want to is there. They have to, Lamar has to sign the deal that they put in front of him, and he has to want to sign that one.
We have seen it over and over again. The longer you wait, the more you have to pay. Okay, let's move on to another signing at some point, which could happen. Let's talk about A.J. Brown. A lot to talk about with A.J. Brown, JJ. I was thinking about you. He has been very difficult with the Eagles. We've been looking at the Patriots a lot. They just got Romeo Doubs. How much does that impact? Because Lee J was saying earlier that the Patriots still need a #1 wide receiver. Can that still be A.J. Brown?
Yeah, Lee J knows ball, right? And this does not preclude the New England Patriots from going after A.J. Brown. But it means that they don't have to shop hungry, right? You never want to go to the grocery store with the stomach growling, right? So this is where the Patriots and the Philadelphia Eagles, more importantly, are at. If the Eagles trade A.J. Brown before June the 1st, their salary cap hit for A.J. Brown goes up $20 million. That does not help the 2026 Eagles. Losing A.J. Brown does not help the 2026 Eagles. And so if you're going to do that, then you better get what you're asking for him, which is essentially what they traded to get him 4 years ago, a 1 and a 3 or something like that. If you're not getting that, then why are you dealing with a bill that's going to go up by $20 million? That doesn't make any sense. Well, then you wait until June the 2nd, because then that salary cap impact is not going to be there. You get draft pick compensation in 2027, which I think we all agree is supposed to be a better draft than the one that we are faced with in about 6 weeks from now. And so that is what can make some sense. Now, if you're the Eagles, yeah, you get the 27 draft picks, but that means that you have to wait until 2027 to get those players, right? So that is sort of the push and pull here. I think the Patriots remain the top contenders for A.J. Brown, but the last week or so, it seemed like it's not going to happen between these two sides. And I think with the Doubs deal today, that only reaffirms that it's probably not imminent or happening anytime soon.
And that's interesting the way it's structured with this contract, that they'll get some relief if they do it post June 1st. So to JJ's point now, you're talking about future assets that you can't use for the 26th season, and the Eagles are trying to get back to the Super Bowl. So there could be a real scenario where we see A.J. Brown on the sideline for the Philadelphia Eagles again. Now, I know it's out of this world to think because we just think that that relationship is strained, but we know this, DK, winning usually conquers everything, right? And if you're able to figure out a way to get him more involved in the offense and him and Jalen Hurts on the same page, then they'll be able to work it out. I've been on multiple teams where not everybody liked each other. Not everybody was best friends, but there was always a common goal in mind to get to the Super Bowl. Now, they've made some changes on offense, right? Kevin Patula is no longer there as offensive coordinator. We'll see if Sean Mannion could get this offense back to where we've seen them be explosive. So I wouldn't say that the shoe is just dropping for A.J. Brown being an Eagle again.
Man, I don't know. I don't know. There was a lot
It's tough to trade him.
There was a lot of bad blood. I know you can sue over those things by winning and all that, but I think there's been too much damage here. I think the Eagles would like to move on, and I think A.J. Brown would like to move on. Now you're just talking about finding the right pairing of where they could go. I personally think the Patriots still need a #1. I still think he would be a good fit for them. Romeo Doubs is a nice signing, but he is a clear-cut a #2 wide receiver. They need that true alpha on the outside to put across Romeo Doubs, who could help him tremendously and give Drake May another weapon to work with. So We'll see if it can happen. Maybe this delays a little bit. I'm still not giving up hope.
And let's not forget, Mike Vrabel was up in arms when they traded him away
Yes.
from Tennessee. He never wanted to trade him away, so it does make some sense. But to JJ's point, the contract is tough because, again, you're essentially trading for future assets that don't help you this season. I don't know how many teams are willing to just sign up for that this year.
JJ, really quickly, if it's not the Patriots, where could A.J. Brown end up? I mean, potentially back with the Eagles. Is there another suitor out there that is interested in him?
Yeah, great question. And it's a question that I have been asking around the league for some time. There doesn't appear to be an obvious kind of number 2 suitor. Again, no one really wants to give up the cost for A.J. Brown right now. And it doesn't appear that the Philadelphia Eagles are moving off of that. And because you don't have to do that now, because you're not playing a football game for 6 months, because the Eagles' price could come down after June the 1st, I don't know that even if there is a number 2 suitor that it even matters right now. It doesn't seem like anything right now is going to happen.
Him and Trey Hendrickson can just go hang out somewhere if they don't get the teams that they want.
Go fishing, read a book.
Yeah, exactly. Bring a book and go fishing.
Is Lige invited? Because then
I would love to be on that boat. Fish, talk football, read some books.
who has some time to fish and read books? Kickers. We got to talk about the market for kickers right now. Fairbairn, you look at that contract that he signed, the Texans signing record-breaking extension, 2 years, $13 million, the highest paid kicker in the NFL in history. What does the contract there mean for someone that's looking for a contract that they're like the Cowboys, Brandon Aubrey? JJ.
Yeah, great question there. We have Kaimi Fairbairn, and we see right there his AAV right at 6.5, a tick above Harrison Butker. We don't know exactly what the Dallas Cowboys' offer to Brandon Aubrey was, but we know that it has been on the table since, I think, September or October, and it was to make him the highest paid kicker in NFL history. So was it 6.41, 6.5, whatever. Here's Brandon Aubrey's point. I'm more than 0.1 or 0.2 better than number 2. Okay, I'm the difference maker, right? If there's a touchback and Dak Prescott and the guys can just get 1 first down, I'm getting you 3 points. Okay, and so because of that, he wants far more. Now we just saw Tyler Linderbaum, who the Raiders signed at center, who just went 50% above the market, right? So if the Raiders had made him the highest paid center in NFL history, they could have just gone $18 million and $1, and that would have beaten Creed Humphrey. Instead, he went $9 million over that, right? He went 50% over that. That's what we're talking about in that sort of ballpark with Brandon Aubrey. Not necessarily percentage-wise, but sort of orders of magnitude. So they slapped the second-round tender on him. That's $5.76 million. That means another team can send a second-round pick and ultimately get Aubrey and then sign him to a deal. Would a team do that? They would at 6.5. Would they do it at 10? I don't know about that. So that's the game the Dallas Cowboys are playing right now. We'll see. I don't think that Fairbairn's deal really impacts Brandon Aubrey because 6.4, 6.5, 6.7, none of that matters. We're talking 8, 9-ish for Brandon Aubrey.
Danny, would you like to comment on kickers?
No, I thought we were talking about football players in this, Scott. I thought it was free agency for football players.
Brandon Aubrey is a football. To JJ's point, with the touchback rules being what they are, if the Cowboys get 1 first down, you're literally in his range. That's an ultimate weapon that anybody in the NFL doesn't have. The Dallas Cowboys have that. So, like, we were just side talking over here, DK. That second-round tender, JJ, if I was a team that I felt like a kicker could put us over the top, I would maybe consider giving up that second-round pick because he is a weapon. Like, Brandon Aubrey is a weapon, literally. Like, you get near the 50-yard line, it's an automatic 3 for you, for Brett. And that's not just in the finite stadium of Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
That's outside.
Yeah.
That's the type of leg strength this kid has. So, like,
this might be the first time I've ever heard a team is a kicker away. Like, I've heard a quarterback away.
How many kickers have lost? How many kickers have,
but
Do you
a kicker
remember
away.
what
the Baltimore Ravens,
I've
what
been
happened to them?
complaining about the Rams and their special teams.
The Rams special teams had issues. Like, If I'm a team that needs
They
a kicker,
were
man.
kicker away.
JJ, I feel like you're holding yourself back right now.
I am.
Say what
I am
you
trying
wanna
to be a
say.
professional on here. I'm just
You got a love for kickers,
No,
man?
hey, there's $300 million to go around. Like, everybody's got to get paid something. That's what I'm learning.
But he's different. He's a different guy. when it
He
comes.
is different, and I
He's a
love that
different dude.
Danny is still talking about the NFL back like when he played, when kickers were struggling from 42.
42
right?
was long.
I mean, this dude is different, and he's going to be worth the money.
Yeah.
Someone's going to pay him the money. We'll see if he gets it. Congratulations to him in advance on